As the month opened to July, so did the season to summer. The wildflowers bloomed once again, followed by a newfound opportunity for adventure. As always, the bright summer days have taken hold of my soul, breathing new life into me and reminding me why the dark winters here are so worth weathering. This will be my 4th summer living here, among the land that has become my home. Something I never dreamed to be possible when I first arrived here, but something I've been grateful for every day of these last 4 years. I intend on spending this 4th summer with purpose, filling my days with the nature that surrounds me, and challenging myself to work with it in new ways that inspire me and prepare me for the winter months that are ahead.
Oh yeah? Oh, that's a lot to say, huh?
We are nearing the end of a very long and very busy workday for me, and I kind of just want to do a bit of a check-in. I have had a very rough past 6 months in my health lately, and it's something that I don't really tend to talk a lot about on this channel, or any channel, because it's something that's been okay for a long time. I did start making YouTube videos when I was very sick and struggling a lot with chronic health issues, and through the years of creating, it's been able to get a lot better, and I've had ebbs and flows here and there, but the past, I don't know, since the start of the year, it's been pretty rough, and I feel like things are kind of starting to get back on track. And the more I've been thinking about it, and the more that I've just kept it tucked away, the more that I realize that I think it's something that I should talk a little bit about sometimes. I get a lot of comments from people who romanticize my life here, and it is beautiful, it is wonderful, and I am very, very fortunate, and I don't want to understate that. But I think that I am not always very upfront about the other sides of my life and the other things that take place within it, like the health struggles. And the health struggles have been, of course, going on the entire time that I've made videos, but they've just been so much worse. And it's really impacted my ability to create and to share here. And I do think that it will change a little bit of how I create in the future. That's something I'm still sorting out, and something I will probably talk more about in the next video here. But I figured that for the sake of transparency, I should just give you some updates. For those of you who've been here since the beginning, you'll know that this channel really was started on the basis of me finding some amount of health and getting a bit better than I had been for many years. I have a connective tissue disorder that is fairly well managed for the most part, but it has manifested in a lot of gastric issues, namely something called gastroparesis, which means my stomach doesn't really digest food very well. It's paralyzed stomach. And that's something that has, throughout the last decade of my life, really just been all over the place. I had a feeding tube for 5 years. I had one when I started this channel and I was unable to eat food at the time. And I got all of my nutrition through a bag, and it was really wild and kind of crazy to look back on. Through the years, I've been able to eat again, and I've gotten to a place where it is almost unnoticeable. Unless you're someone who spends all of your time with me, you probably wouldn't really pick up on the fact that I have this. I was able to get rid of my feeding tube a year and a half ago because I wasn't really using it, and the site was causing more issues than it was worth. And it was fantastic, and I was doing great, and I kind of had hoped that I wouldn't ever need something like that again. Medical intervention like that is something I'm very, very grateful for, but it's a huge pain in the butt. And the complications that can arise, the upkeep that it requires, it's a lot. But come January, my stomach started acting up again. This has always happened. It always kind of does this. And my current system wasn't working anymore, and I ended up really very malnourished over the last handful of months because my stomach just couldn't handle food. There was a moment about a month ago where I thought that I might have to get another feeding tube. And that was a little scary for me. And one of the things that I kept worrying about was creating videos with feeding tube. Mind you, I've done it before, but it was not something that I wanted. It's not something I want in my life at all. But having to kind of break the news that my health was bad in such a big way was kind of daunting to me. And so since then I've realized that I should probably talk about this again and let you guys in on this. Where I'm at right now is better than I was a month ago. I have finally started to gain back a little bit of the weight that I lost. I lost a lot of weight, and I'm not very happy about that. It's scary when that happens. It's very hard for me to maintain weight with gastroparesis, how it manifests in my body. And it's been a struggle my whole life. And I know that that may not seem like a problem to some people, but it's not fun to not be able to think because your body is not digesting foods, you aren't getting nutrients, and being so tired that you can't walk your dogs or go out in the world because your body's just not working. It's getting a little bit better, and I'm very, very grateful for it, but it really did shock my system and make me realize how much I am unprepared for my health to dip the way that it did, especially in my work. It very much impacts my work when that happens. And I have other health issues that tie to my condition, but that's the one that tends to get in the way of my day-to-day life the most these days, at least. And I figured I should be a little bit more transparent about it. When I've talked about it in the past, I'm somebody who really, really loves to cook and to bake, and it's very frustrating when I have this flare-up of symptoms that makes it impossible to enjoy these things. I've always baked for other people and cooked food for other people, and I still do the same thing. But nowadays, when I've been doing it, I haven't been talking about it, and I think it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's part of the culture that I grew up in, where you do kind of want to present the best side of yourself at all times, that everything is okay, or whether that's the internet. But sometimes I feel like it's best to hide those difficult elements of life, and then it usually does come back to bite me later when either something catastrophic happens and then I disappear off the face of the earth, which this is my job and I can't do that. Or it's a big thing that requires this huge announcement. And so in an effort to avoid that, I really just kind of have needed to say that things haven't been great. I've been meaning to make a video kind of diving into the last few years and some of the struggles and hardships surrounding it, and it's been very hard for me to pull myself together to do that, I think in large part because it's strange to me to talk about. I think I like to be somebody who's very in charge of my life and everything is okay all the time because I have it handled, but sometimes it just isn't, and I can't create the things that I want to. And that has been true for a long time, but that's changing. The video I posted prior to this was one of my favorite in a long time. I finally had the energy to work and create and make something that I'm proud of. It made me so happy to finalize that video, and this video even too. I've been able to get out into nature more and enjoy things, go foraging, and of course the earth is waking up again, and so it is summer now. The flowers are out, the plants are green. There's so much to see and enjoy and work with, and that of course helps a ton. But a month ago, I wasn't really sure if I would be able to enjoy nature or get out into it at the rate that I have been, because I just wasn't doing that great. And that's just an unfortunate reality of this situation, and I'm sure a lot of you also feel similar and can understand that. I think one of the other things that's important to me about talking about this a bit is maybe I can help somebody feel a little bit less alone. I always felt very alone in my journey when I was growing up or when I first was diagnosed or first getting sick. But then I was able to find community on the internet, kind of, and see people living lives that they loved while still accommodating the bodies that they had. And that was very inspiring to me and gave me the motivation to seek out what I want to in life. And sometimes I lose sight of the position that I'm in today to be able to maybe be that for somebody else as well. So that's also important to me. At this point, I don't have a lot to say more. I'm sure I could say more. I'm not always very good at opening up about this stuff. If you guys have questions, I can answer them either in the comments or in my next video. I am pretty happy to talk about some stuff, but I don't want to change my content or to revolve around chronic illness or things like that. But it is something that I think I need to be a little bit more transparent on sometimes, especially because even though I thought I was doing much better, things did turn on a dime, and that could happen again. Sorry, the camera died. I think I was saying that things could turn on a dime again, and if that happens, I want to be prepared and comfortable enough to speak about it. So I think those are my biggest goals there. And yeah, I don't really have much more to say on it right now, but it's something that did feel important to share. I'm finding rhythm, finding life as always. We know, here I am, always doing this, but I feel good. So I think I'm gonna close out here. And yeah, see you in a bit. For those of you who've made it this far, I figured I'd finally share the fruits of my recent trip to Canada. There's been a handful of sneak peeks throughout this video if you've caught it. But if not, I'm very excited to share this new piece of artwork I had laid upon my arm. It's a bit of yarrow, an herb I love dearly for its medicine and rich folklore, and one I've wanted for years now. Till next time, I hope you're well, and I can't wait to see you again soon.